Hey folks, welcome to Leader Talk. I'm SEAC retired John Wayne Troxell, your host, and I have a special guest on here today, a returning guest,
Indeed.
retired Command Chief Master Sergeant Tim Chachi Pachesa, not only a good friend, business partner of mine. We did some good things this week at Joint Base Lewis McChord. We'll talk about that. But today is going to finish up the triad that we've been getting at with leadership in terms of mindset, being a positive leader, and building a positive team. And today we're going to talk about leader mindset. So, Chachi, welcome back, man.
Thank you for having me back. As always, it has. This is always so much fun.
Yeah. So, we're going to talk leader mindset today, and I just kind of want you to talk through what you think a leader's mindset should be as they look to inspire, they look to build a cohesive team, and they look to continue to be successful in their career.
First, as one of the points that we brought up over the past few days with the amazing airmen at Joint Base Lewis McChord is it's really got to be purposeful.
Yeah.
That leadership mindset. Like if you're not actively focusing on being a leader, you're not a leader.
Right.
You're maybe a boss. You're maybe a good boss.
Yeah.
Maybe a manager. Maybe a good manager. But you really need to try. Leadership doesn't happen just because you do those things. So actively focusing on, hey, what are the skills? What are the traits? What are the concepts I need to understand or embody or put out there to my team? If you're not actively thinking about that, you're probably not a leader.
Yeah, and you talked about leading and managing, and there are some people out there that think they're the same.
Right.
When obviously they're not. I think we lead people and we manage resources. Your thoughts?
100%. Probably the best definition out there. And we've seen it. And a lot of this comes into duty titles.
Yeah.
Where someone can be a manager. Yes, you are a manager of things. But as far as the mindset you need to cultivate to make those people successful, can't just be that of a manager.
Yeah.
Because you can manage things, which to me just seems reactive.
Yeah.
So you'll manage it. Then if it pops up that it's bad, then you'll go ahead and take care of it, which is good. But maybe not the essence of a leader, where a leader mindset to me is more proactive, going out and searching for the things that they can fix or make better.
Yeah. One of the things you use in our evolved leadership development sessions is expectations. Can you kind of talk through that kind of segment that you have in our sessions about expectations?
If you have the next 8 hours... I will speak until my head explodes.
That's not an expectation. We've got 8 hours.
No, the long and short of it is I realized about 13 years ago in Afghanistan. In quick kind of shout out to Dave Gray, Major Dave Gray, who was killed 13 years ago today in a suicide bombing. And Flown Groberg. I know you work with him. You're receiving the Medal of Honor for actions on the objective that day. But 13 years ago, I started thinking about the expectations and what all that means. And so what I've kind of pulled apart is, we have expectations of everything and everyone every day.
Yeah.
And the more we understand those expectations, the better we're able to kind of break them down. Yeah. And when we do that, we can become more emotionally intelligent. Yeah. So, it's not that an event happens. It's our reaction to what happened. Whether like if it exceeded our expectations, we're happy. If it didn't meet our expectations, we're sad. So if we can train ourselves to think about that delta, either positively or negatively, and just kind of, hey, what information was available? What was our past experience on this? And should I really have, expected it to happen to that level? Yeah. And if we're able to break that down, we can clear out a lot of the crap that kind of disturbs our peace of mind, number one.
Yeah.
But it really chips away at some of our relationships when we're trying to A, communicate, and then B, connect through that communication.
So what would be a good definition of expectations?
For me, it would be the thought or belief that an act or event will occur based on credible levels of information and or credible levels of past experience.
Okay.
And the point behind that is, if we can be emotionally intelligent adults and something didn't happen and now we're torqued, we're like, oh, we're just pissed it didn't happen. If we can say, okay, how much information did I have about that? How much past experience? If they're not credible levels, like extreme tangible levels, then maybe at best that was an anticipation.
Yeah.
Probably an assumption. And then again, the emotionally intelligent adult can be like, okay, again, some of this we can only find out in hindsight. There are those gotchas that pop up every now and again. But the more that we're able to self-assess and put all that together, then we can take that step back. Like, okay, this was a miss. I should have seen it based on, hey, I didn't have that information. Or this was a miss because the past experience really wasn't the past experience we needed. So we can just, okay, we don't have to get wrapped around the axle. My mental health has been better because of this. My clarity has been better, all based on expectations.
Okay, one of the other things you use that I think is powerful is the 8 Ws. Whenever we, in the military, we give out a mission, we always give out the who, what, where, when, and why. But your theory is that each one of those who, what, when, and where should have a why associated with it. Who, why,
Completely.
what, why, when, why, where, why. Can you expound on that?
A lot of people don't question the 5 Ws. We
Right.
learned it, very, very young, and at face value.
Part of our mission
Yeah,
statement.
it's part of our
and
mission
operations
statement,
order.
and it's absolutely fine. Other than, in the words of Jim Collins, like "good is the enemy of great," or Ben Franklin, if better is possible, good is not enough.
Yeah.
So when we give the who, what, when, where, why, 99 times out of 100, when we give the why, it only amplifies or modifies the what.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but you can add more context, right? You can give more of that why in such a highly specialized force that we see in the military,
Yeah.
where we're talking about organizational commitment. If you can't articulate the why, if your soldiers, if your airmen, Marines, defenders, sailors, all that, like if they don't know the why, they have decreased levels of organizational commitment. And long gone are the days where they don't ask why, just do what you're told.
Yeah.
That has a combat sense. Like there's a combat leadership tactic that has to be learned, that has to be cultivated 100%.
Yeah.
But kind of training ops, garrison ops, being able to articulate the why at all of those levels just gives your communication that much of an edge to really help people out to understand what's going on.
Well, I think the reason that's important is in today's day and age, if leaders aren't delivering those whys under the who, what, when, and where, their subordinates are going to find it out. And usually that's on the internet or through chat GPT or something. And it may not be the direction or clearly what the leader is trying to articulate.
Then the leader ends up getting mad at soldiers who try and execute disciplined initiative,
Yeah.
and it goes all wrong. But they don't have the requisite background information, all the facts
Right.
and details that they could have, perhaps.
Yeah.
Had we been had the foresight to put out the why. And so a soldier, if they only know that there's points Alpha and Zulu, will connect a straight line between Alpha and Zulu.
Yeah.
If they don't know that Bravo through Yankee exist all over the place,
Yeah.
and they don't know where they're not going to connect them. But help them connect the dots.
Yeah.
Let them at least know that there's dots out there, that there's part of the bigger picture. There's nothing wrong with that. So people don't jump to conclusions. Like all the books prove this. The human brain is hardwired to make sense out of the nonsensical. If you have 2 points, you'll draw a straight line. That's not stupid, but help people see where the other dots are.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors at PME Hard Consulting. When we come back, we're going to find all about the Pachesa 8.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Leader Talk. I want to take a quick moment to talk about leadership. At PME Hard Consulting and Lead, we offer top-tier leadership development and coaching. With over 60 years of combined military and leadership experience to lean on, along with certifications in the Power of Positive Leadership, Power of Positive Teams, and the Energy Bus programs by best-selling author John Gordon, we offer training that will help you cultivate positive, impactful leadership within your organization. To learn more or to schedule your leadership workshop, head to www.pmehard.com and start building a better, more effective leadership team today. Hey folks, welcome back to Leader Talk. SEAC retired John Wayne Troxell here. I'm here with my special guest, good friend, business partner, retired 2-time Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant, retired Tim Chachi Pachesa. Chachi, like I said before, we had great engagements this week with our lead business, LE9D. Can you tell the audience what LEAD is all about?
You bet. LEAD is a collaborative program between you and I that exercise your understanding, your strategic mindset, your growth through the United States military, not even gonna say Army, as far as that goes, and then blended with some of the principles that you and I individually have been building on the sides and bringing it to the masses. And super thankful that so far the results have been amazing. The students have seemed to be very receptive to it and very thankful for it.
Yeah, I think the title we use is Evolve Leadership for the Modern Leader. Why do you think some leaders struggle with this kind of concept that we are coaching them to evolve and everything? Why do you think leaders struggle with that?
I think it's just predicated on a millennium old model of how we have to serve. It's I give you an order, you execute the order. What are your questions?
Haul ass,
haul ass, kill people. Boom, save the day. That's it. But through advancements in communication and technology, as we've gotten more or less and less warriors on the battlefield, it's more technology driven, more specialized. We really need to maximize again those advancements in technology and communication, and realize that we really need to just kind of the model that we have in our head from all the movies that we grew up with watching, and it really is great. Like when you watch all the movies that have come out for the global war on terror, there so many of them are kind of spec ops centric or stuff, but even conventional forces and soldiers, everyone's mic'd up. Everyone knows what's going on. So the whole do what you're told and just like don't ask questions and go. We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
The soldiers want to know. They're dying to know. They want that felt need. They want that commitment. They want to know why they're putting their lives on the line, how this helps America, how this helps us achieve a strategic advantage and global superiority. Man, we got to work on it. Man, it's getting better.
One of the segments of our curriculum is something that you've dubbed the Pachesa 8, and I absolutely love it. Can you talk our audience through these 8 principles, these 8 items that comprise the Pachesa 8, and why did you select these?
You bet. So, 8 principles that I created 21 years ago, just merely to help my young airmen find success inside the United States Air Force. What the Air Force calls the whole airman concept.
Right.
Which realistically today, it's just how to be a global citizen.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so, at the time, it was just do your job, take school, and volunteer.
Yeah.
And that's how we understood it. And that's fine, at face value. But there's some people who are just looking for a little bit more fidelity in how does that actually transpire. And so, I as I sat down and thought what that could look like for me, it magically came up with 8 things, which were, rhymed with Pachesa, and boom, we have it. So the acronym is Corporal Timid.
Yes.
Communication, professionalism, loyalty, teamwork, initiative, motivation, and then involvement development. So the first 6 things do every second of every hour of every day that you're alive. And the last 2 things do once a month in a manner commensurate with your position, your grade, your rank, if not higher, if you want to be a real achiever. And then see if things just don't magically work out for yourself. And that's what my career was based on. And I watched significant growth in my career once I started adopting some of these things. Because it came down to, there's a lot of people like, I'm not here to play the game. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, regardless of your field of endeavor, if your boss wants you to do A, B, and C, and you ignore A, B, and C, you ignore B and C and expect to get promoted, if you expect to advance, that's on you. That's basic adulting. Whether you like it or not. Yeah. So find a way to internalize it, find a way to align your actions with it, and see if things just don't magically work out.
So can you go through the Corporal Timid acronym right now, and with each one, just give a quick bullet of what that means? Yeah,
the biggest advice that I can give for all these is communication.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I could give leaders is don't focus on your clear communication. Focus on the fact that other people are going to receive it differently.
Yeah.
And when you put that external locus of control and realize that you may need to modify your message so it's received from better on the user end, that I think is a huge key. Professionalism. The thing here is we need to make sure that our people are focusing on professionalism for job performance.
Yeah.
That's got to be job standard number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at whether they're kind or they're polite, or they dress well or they're clean shaven or whatever. Maybe they smell, who knows? But job performance has to go up to number 1. Loyalty for me is a weird ism for the Air Force in a lot of stuff, but loyalty, yes, you need to be loyal to either your service or your job, whatever you may have. But that's a high average.
Yeah.
There's going to be some times where, yes, I need to be loyal to an organization, or I need to be loyal to the Air Force or the TACP system, which I absolutely was. But there are times where I need to be loyal to my wife and my children, where I needed to take some time for me to get right with me. And that doesn't mean I was disloyal to the Air Force or the TACP world,
right?
But I needed to get myself right. So, maybe 75, 80% of the time, the service is going to win or the job's going to win. But you need to understand that you have that capacity to do that for yourself. Teamwork is just kind of a cliche thing, but teamwork is also going, because like 2 dudes don't do it. 2 dudes that come like, hey, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
Like good eye contact, like, hey, how are you today? Not a platitude, but that in and of itself is such a foreign concept to dudes and warriors. Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You ready to do this? Like, yeah, let's go. Like, and we just glance over all the things that we could be talking about. Initiative is probably the most underrated skill that I could ask of anyone. Don't just sit around just doing what you're told. If you do what you're told, that's just obedience. Find some ways to execute disciplined initiative, but we
Yeah.
have to ask the why to
Yeah.
help people, like give them their left and right limits and kind of hone in that initiative.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Motivation. I think leaders need to realize that it can't just be internal, intrinsic motivation.
Right.
There are external factors, the intrinsic stuff, and whether you go to Adams equity theory, Vroom's expectancy theory, Hersberg's two-factor theory, Blanchard Hersey model of situational leadership, or Dan Pink in his book Drive, we're talking about autonomy, mastery, purpose. All of these things are concepts that leaders have a hand to play in.
Yeah.
So if they don't know any of those, like if they don't realize that those exist, like you've just failed. And then in involvement development is just do something to better yourself, do something to better your community. Whatever that is, and whatever flavor that is, again, do one thing once a month in a manner commensurate with your grade, position, rank, whatever that may be, and just realize that our actions today with social media and everything like that, our daily actions have global impact, and you can be one of those people that make global impact with their actions.
Yeah, that is awesome. The Pachesa 8, I love it. All right, folks, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors at Downrange Supplements. When we come back, we're going to find out about some other endeavors that Chachi's into. We'll be right back.
Downrange Supplements. As the brand of the troops, we produce only the highest quality supplements conducive to mission effectiveness. Whether it's our fully dosed pre-workout, recovery and rehydration, or Mermite protein, it's time to continually improve your fighting position with Downrange Supplements. Go to www.downrangesups.com today and take your training to the next level.
Hey folks, welcome back to Leader Talk. SEAC retired John Wayne Troxell here. I'm here with Chachi, retired Command Chief, TAC P, and Mr. Awesomeness here. Just a great dude. So Chachi, talk to me about what else you got going on in life here. You've got a great family, and we work together with Lead and you've got Cape Lead going and everything. Talk to us a little bit about your things, but more importantly, talk to us about Hunter 7 Foundation.
Happy to. You're right. So, I've been in the nonprofit space even since before I retired from the military, and then, did that a little bit with my time at Black Rifle Coffee. And no sooner did I leave Black Rifle than the executive director of Hunter 7, Chelsea Simone, was like, "Hey, Chachi, welcome to the team.
Yeah.
You're on board." And was able to take over as executive director a few months ago. Chelsea's still right there in lockstep with me. She and I were on the phone this morning. She's our chief health officer, still orchestrating all the treatment, all the science, all the research, all the teaching as it pertains to veterans and their cancer journey through their exposures or treatments or a diagnosis, things of that nature. So, being part of this amazing organization who does so much to give back to educate veterans on their risk of cancer through their service, but also educating healthcare professionals on how to treat and triage veterans, because so much of what they go off of is civilian-based studies and how that happens.
Yeah.
So, they don't realize that in a lot of cases, veterans will develop cancer, 20, 30 years sooner than the civilian norm. So a veteran can come in and present with an issue that'll get dismissed in some cases because they're too young. Well, we're trying to kind of get away from that in a lot of areas, and no bad harm to the healthcare providers out there, but I just think we need to do a little bit more education process for what it actually means for veterans.
And the name Hunter 7, how did that come up?
You bet. That happened. Chelsea's husband, Kyle, when they were dating, they were talking about stuff, and Kyle had mentioned that a lot of his friends were dead. Yeah. And Chelsea was like, "Oh, combat." And he said, "No." And she's like, "Oh, perhaps suicide." And he's like, "No, cancer. They're all dying from cancer."
Yeah.
So he was on a deployment, and his first surgeon at the time ended up being a retired sergeant major, had gotten cancer and died.
Wow.
Sergeant Major Rob Bowman. But while deployed, his call sign was Hunter 7.
Hunter 7.
So they had reached out, and the founders of Hunter 7 had reached out to his widow and said, "Hey, do you mind if we, in honor of him, put this together?" That happened in December of 2018, and so we've had some huge historic wins, and so as an homage to him, and just as a shout out to everyone who wears the uniform, and that we really have to get better, and people sadly sometimes blame the government, on this, but that's not our stance. This isn't the government's fault that people get cancer, no more than it is the government's fault that someone gets shot or blown up. Right? It's a consequence of service.
Yeah.
So while not their fault, right? It is their responsibility to help through. And I'm very excited for the way we're trending in the right direction and all the different people that are reaching out to get veterans and service members the care that they need.
So how does a veteran, the testing is free, right? To
Yes.
the veteran. So how does a veteran go about getting tested?
go to 107.org.
Okay.
We can sign up there, and if a veteran has a mailbox, we can get you a cancer test.
Yeah.
Thanks to the amazing people at One Test, we will mail them out. People can look at 107, hopefully in our social media, and see the test that you just recently took.
Sure.
As far as that goes, small vial of blood can be done in the comfort of your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to see a doc. You don't have to fight traffic. You don't have to do. You can just go out there and get screened, because it is a significant thing.
And obviously, because it is live blood and everything, it's got to be frozen if it's being mailed out, right? And it's got to be sent out in a hurry, right?
Yeah, we will send you everything that you have. And so
Yeah.
you'll get the 2 ice packs, you get the small vial of blood, the capillary, fill device that we use to kind of nick your skin to get all that blood. But kit and caboodle, complete with the shipping label to go to UPS afterwards to get all that stuff sent out. So yeah, if you're out there, if you're a veteran, if you're, for what we're trying to do, we're kind of a GWAT era focused. So if you're roughly between 40 and 60 years old, and we'd love to open it up to everybody, but with limited funding, things of that nature, we have to focus on the real problem target demographic. So GWAT era veteran between 40 and 60, go to 107.org, and there's a place for like request support. We'll add you to our queue. We've got a little bit of a backlog that we're trying to clear, but we're trying to do some fundraisers to help with that.
So the test comes back and it shows irregularities. What happens then?
At that point, our medical staff will reach out and discuss all of your findings. You get almost like a free like health survey, for lack of a better term, to let you know where those are. Now, we don't diagnose cancer.
Right.
We just say, hey, some of these numbers are abnormal. In some area, we recommend you go see your primary care physician, any of that stuff. Ask these questions, show them your results, say, hey, this came back here. This may be a problem for us. So we're super thankful for Chelsea and the medical team that does all that and puts it together, and then start that conversation. And then we've got a great guy, Keith Dow, he's a VP of our Warrior Needs for like the full spectrum. He'll get everyone in process, get all that going. Dr. Sherry Boucher is doing all the research and the science and backing all that behind. So there's just a great team of individuals doing a lot of job to take care of it. A lot of veterans.
So even if the veteran gets a clean bill of health, they'll still get a call?
They will still get results back. Like they may even get a call depending on the capacity of the team, but they will absolutely get their results back. So number one, that's huge. So you're going to know where you stand with all those results. And it's huge for us because we're trying to build like a heat map. Right. With our onboarding process, every veteran that we test is more and more data for us. We're hoping that one day maybe that can become a predictive analysis model where we can say, if you have this job or were stationed in this location, deployed to these things and saw these types of events, then you may have a greater chance of this and this cancer. So every data point that we get back is data that we can build to work towards that model. We're not there yet, but hopefully one day we can be.
So tying the testing with 107 back to the topic of our show today, mindset. What should the mindset of a veteran be in terms of their self-care?
Overwhelmingly so. Just know that they need to take care of themselves on all levels, like PM your heart, physically, mentally, emotionally. So we can get after this physical part, like right here, right now, with Hunter 7, we can get you screened and tested. If you're an organization that wants to help support that, we're willing to talk to you. And we've got some cool stuff coming up with that. But at the end of the day, the veteran's sitting there, and I have so many of my friends like, oh, I just don't want to know. I totally get it. I held it off for months and months and months. And I'm so glad I ended up taking that test just so I can know. And I know people who just did random cancer screenings, like people that have showed up for our cancer screenings have gotten cancer that they wouldn't have otherwise known, wouldn't have otherwise seen, and super thankful. Because again, if like early detection, sounds so cliche, but it is absolutely the key. If we can get this in stage 1, stage 2, the survivability percentage jacks way up.
All right, so we're coming down to the end here. Talk about what we have coming up here with CAPE and LEAD and things like that.
You bet. So people reach out all the time to ask different things. We're looking at releasing the app complete with the SEAC #3 retired John Wayne Troxell section to talk about all the things that you were certified in, all the different experiences that you have, all of your leader lessons, all of your life lessons, get all that wrapped into it. We've got 8, 9 different programs to pick and choose from. So every lead that we do is a custom program based off of what the end user wants, what they may be experiencing, what some of their people may be struggling with, things of that nature. So every part of that is a collaborative process. We've also built out some of the leader tools that we could have out there, whether it's leadership intake questionnaire to put all that together. The practical application, building, custom student guides and, building facilitator guides. And then at the end of it, building out the capacity for like reinforcement of concepts through leadership coaching.
Yeah.
So really excited for where we're going to take this very, very quickly into the future.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Okay, how can people get a hold of you or in touch with you? Social media, things like that.
So social media is pretty easy. At Chachi Pachesa, ChachiPachasa. So that's easy on Instagram, which is probably the best way to do that. But heck, like if you want to text me, like I've got time for this. 602-621-0821. That's easy. You can find the lead stuff on pmehard.com. Hunter 7 is hunter7foundation.org. Please reach out. Please ask if you have questions. I'm reachable morning, noon, and night.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. We always end out every show with a warrior shout out. So I'm going to give it to you. What's your warrior shout out, brother?
Shout out today is Major Dave Gray.
Yeah.
Right. So DG killed 13 years ago today. Was a very, very good friend. Honored to be on that deployment with him as a squadron superintendent there at Bagram Air Base.
Yeah.
And even more thrilled to know that my youngest son Jackson is Jackson Gray Pachesa after him, with approval from his widow and his family. So DG brother, always thinking of you. Really, really miss you. But your family is not only surviving, they are thriving, and super excited to see what everyone's doing with. So congrats. Hope you and Ronnie are having a good time up there.
Awesome. Well, brother, thanks again for being on the show, man. I
Thank you for having me.
But more importantly, it is just an honor to be teammates with you as we continue to pay it forward through our leader development stuff, evolved leadership for modern leaders. Check us out at our websites and everything. You can go to pmehard.com and see it as well. And it's great to see you. It's Friday. And you know what we do on Friday night? We celebrate the wins we had that week with beer, pizza, and karaoke. So
I'm ready.
Start warming up them pipes, brother.
Bring it on.
All right. And to the audience, thanks again for tuning in. This ends the triad that we were getting after with mindset, leadership, and team building. We'll talk to you again soon on Leader Talk. Thanks for what you do. God bless you all, and God bless America. Boom.